What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We will not disappoint you. Hit that like button. Make sure you share the video and leave a comment. I got a really special guest on today, a dude that was like one of my best friends in federal prison. He's probably one of the tallest dudes I've ever been around. But anyway, I'm going to let Tree introduce himself. Tree, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and we're going to talk about the SMU program and some of the shit that you've been through in life, man, addiction. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff today. But tell the people who you are and where you're from, bro.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Big Tree, man. Cameron Jones. Tree's that's prison name, man. Big Cam, they call me out here. I'm from Pasco County, Florida. Y'all might have seen it on Live PD. Terrible place, man. Ain't nothing but just drugs and bad shit out here. And, just on here with Chad, man, trying to spread the positivity, man,
So, Tree, I said you were a tall dude. How tall are you, bro?
I'm 6'6". Everybody wants to make me tall. Everybody wants to say, oh, man, you got to be 6'9", but everybody wants to add height to their own shit. But, yeah, man, I'm 6'6".
But anyway, let's talk a little bit about how old you were and what you went to prison for. How old were you when you went to federal prison, bro?
Man, I caught my case right 2 months after I turned 21 years old. I did 90 days in the county jail is all I ever did time-wise. I got caught up on a big 40-man conspiracy for distribution of crack cocaine. And, I feel like they kind of sensationalized our story because it was a bunch of young white kids from, not the inner city, the suburb, and, crack is taking over your area type. They made a big story out of it. And, they gave a whole bunch of young kids, man, a bunch of time that just, I don't feel like we deserved it. I mean, we did. We were doing what we were doing. But at the same time, like, we caught a raw deal, man, in this whole thing. And which is a sad story the feds, do time after time with everybody, man. So
let's talk about this, right? So you catch the crack case. How much time are you sentenced to?
They gave me 188 months, which was crazy to me. Like I said, the only time I ever did was 90 days in the county. And that was I had just been released from the county jail a few months before the Fed case came along. And I went from thinking like, oh my God, 90 days, like that's 3 months I'll never get back in my life, to like 6 months later, I'm sitting here thinking like, man, if I can only get like 120 months, I'll be good with that, and it's like, it's a big, mind fuck, really when they talk big numbers, man, and they don't play about it. They'll throw you away forever.
We're not gonna get here yet, but I'm gonna ask you this: when you were sentenced at the age of 21, you're going to federal prison. Were you addicted to opiates or anything at that time, or did that come later on?
I guess my addiction to opiates was starting, right? Before that, I always partied. I like to snort coke. That was, we're selling crack, but we had the plug out of, Miami with bricks to, soft, and I'm snorting powder. I'm partying. And the same story. Everybody starts there, on their road to addiction. It's like, it's cool, it's fun, it's partying until one day, man, you wake up and, man, it ain't fun no more, but it's too late by that time.
We're gonna get into that more in a minute, but let's talk about this. What's the first federal prison that they send you to?
Okay, so I did everything backwards. I came in with camp points. I had too much time to go to a camp off rip because you had to be 10 years from your release date. So I went to a low first. I went to Fort Worth FMC. And bro, talk about Club Fed, man. I was in Club Fed at the beginning, man. It was like a manicured green lawns, like a college campus, man. I'm kicked back, and Fort Worth, that was right when like Mike Jones was hitting the radio, and that's down there. They had an ice cream social the first weekend I was in jail. Like, man, I thought it was cool, and sadly, this is really when my addiction to opiates started really taking a hold. Was in my first prison. It was the FMC, a Federal Medical Center, and they prescribed morphine. They had 60 milligram morphine pills on the compound going for a book of stamps, $5, which is like cheaper than you get it on the street. And I had never used a needle in my life, that was like so taboo and not cool. And like first time I do that was in federal prison, man. Just sad, man. Young and had a bunch of time. It felt like it was forever. And I get to run in with dudes who they're getting high, and I'm getting high too. I don't care. And like, yeah, man, it sent me down a bad road, man. And I got a couple dirties there. On my second dirty, they're like, all right, we're transferring you out of here. So, I'm from Florida. I thought I was going to Coleman from sentencing. When I got sentenced all this time, the judge sentenced me to 188 months in Coleman Low. It says like on my PSI and everything, which, yeah, okay, that didn't happen. So he sent me to Texas. So when I get a disciplinary transfer from the low, I'm like, all right, that's cool, but maybe they'll send me back home, closer to home. And I'm waiting. And I don't find out where I'm going until I pack out. And when I pack out, like, well, my belongings and stuff, the people who put me up on game, they're like, yo, when you do it and they put your name on it, they're going to put the code of what prison you're going to. So I see them put VIC next to it. So walking back, I had asked the cop, like, yo, VIC, what is that? Where? And he goes and he looks in his little handbook. He's like, oh, that's Victorville. I was like, where's Victorville? He said, oh, that's sunny Southern California. I'm thinking, all right, cool, bet. You know what I'm saying? Cali, like, it's not Florida, but hell, it's got to be just like Florida on the West Coast. And well, that was not the case. I went to the medium in Victorville at first. And that was real prison. That was the first time I walked into a real prison, man. Like, gang banging, tattoos on their face. And, I have a funny story about my first day getting off the bus, go through RD and all that. And they finally, they take me to my unit. So me and a Paisa dude, we walk in the unit, and all eyes are on you when you walk in with your bedroll and come in there. So the cop's like, Jones, you're going to cell 126. I'm like, all right, cool. So I walk in with my bedroll and I walk into 126. Well, there's two older black dudes sitting there. And I see the bottom bunk is made and the top bunk has a mattress that's not made. So I'm figuring, okay, one of these dudes lives in this cell. The other one's his homeboy over here kicking it. They walk in, hey, what's up, man? How y'all doing? Like, I'm your new Stelly. And these two dudes are just looking at me like with their mouth open. And I'm just talking, yeah, man, I've just come from Fort Worth. I got a dirty. They sent me out here. I don't know nothing. Like, when does the grass grow around here? I don't know, man. This place is weird. And they're not saying nothing. And this old white dude, Clem from Arkansas, he comes and pokes his head in. He's like, hey, youngster. He's like, hey, come here, man. I need to talk to you. I was like, all right, bro, just give me a second, man. I'm putting my stuff up. And he's like, no, I need you to come here now and come talk to me. And I'm just like, bro, can I have a second, please? Like, I've been in transport all day, man. I just want to like make my bunk and maybe, get a shot. And he was like, yo, grab your shit and come out here with me now. And I'm just like, okay. So like, I'm grabbing my stuff and I'm telling the black dude, hey, okay, I'm gonna go holler at this dude. I'll be back. I'll see y'all. They never say a word. They're just watching me. And I walk out there and the dude Clem's like, man, come on. And he takes me up to the cop and we walk right up to the CO. And he goes to the CO. He's like, hey, what the fuck is your problem putting him in the cell with damn, I'm not going to say it, you know what I'm saying? But the expletive, black folks. Yeah, what do you put him in the cell with them for? And I'm like, bro, I'm telling the cop, like, I didn't just say that. He said that. I don't know what is going on. The cop's just like, hey, man, I don't know what's up, man. This is what the paperwork from R&D says. Go to that cell. And he's like, look, you find a cell for him. You come back and tell me where he's going. So I'm just like, okay, where am I at now? So they're like taking me around to the white dudes and shit. And of course, now I already got a strike against me for just like coming in off the bus or walking in the black cell like everything's cool. I don't know no better. My last prison, I'm there with a Puerto Rican co-defendant of mine. I got a black homeboy from West Tampa. We go eat. You know what I'm saying? There's no politics there. And Florida's not really on that shit. So
and that's because you were also at a low at the time, a medical center.
Exactly, yes. So, they go around, they find a cell for me. So they put me up in the cell and I go in there. And I remember, old man Dirt, Dirt was a good dude. He's a Hell's Angel out of Oakland, man. He had a life sentence. Took a life sentence, man, because he, by the biker gang's bylaws, he couldn't acknowledge that he's part of a biker gang, which, by signing your plea, you have to like admit to the facts of the case. And one of the facts was that he was part of the Hell's Angel, and he couldn't openly admit that. So he had to go to trial. Offered him 10 years. He couldn't do it by their bylaws, got a life sentence, for sticking to the code of his biker gang. Like, you know what I'm saying? But real good dude. But so he comes in and he's like, "Hey, youngster, where you from?" I said, "I'm from Florida, man, like close to Tampa." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, we do things a little different out here. This isn't Florida." I was like, "All right, that's cool." He's like, "Man, you know anything about politics?" I was like, "Yeah, I know politics, man. Republicans, Democrats, my mom's Republican." And he's just like, no, youngster, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. And I'm just like, what? Yeah, and they're laughing at me like that. And but like dead ass serious. This was, I don't know. And they run it down to me. And they're like, "Look, check it out. First and foremost, it's racially segregated. You're white. You're gonna be with the whites, you're gonna live with a white dude, you eat with the white dudes, it's all with the white dudes. It's no racial mixing, especially not, what I'm saying, no blacks." He said, "Look, we see how you are. You got a little swag about you or whatever. If that's what you want to do, if you want to be with the black car, cool. If they'll have you, you can go. You can be with them. But understand that you'll have nothing coming from any white dude on the compound. And as a matter of fact, if any kind of race riot or something kicks off, the white dudes are going to come at you first. But hey, whatever, think about it, whatever you want to do, but but you're white to us." And I'm all right, cool. So like, this is a lot to take in on my first day, man. And I'm just like, man, tripping. And like one dude that came in with me in R&D, a white kid out of like Washington State or something. He was like a Crip or something. He was like in the unit below me. I guess they gave him the same spiel. He decided to go with the blacks. He's all like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? You want to run with me and run with the blacks?" My feeling on it, man, because I'm not racist, man. I mess with everybody and shit. But at the same time, like, I didn't write these rules. These rules were put in place before me. And like, I don't know any of these black dudes on this compound. Like, why would I go join another race? Like, I don't know them. And I know when it comes down to it, the white dudes get a rep, because they put the swastikas all over them and shit like that. But in all honesty, in prison, every race hates every other race equally. Like, what I'm saying? The blacks hate the whites just as much as the whites hate the blacks. And I understand that. And I'm not going to go put myself in another car like I'm white, first and foremost. I might like rap music. I might have gold teeth, but I'm white. So, I jump in that car and, it's crazy, man. I didn't even want to come out myself for the first week. Like, it was a lot, man. And a lot of dudes hated on me for a while until, a few incidents happened where, they finally see, man, this dude Tree, man, he's all right white dude. He's kind of jiggy, but he's a solid white dude, is eventually where it came to. But yeah, that was my first day there, man. And actually, I ain't gonna lie, man, I kind of like how the West Coast politics are. Like, I feel like they put everything in place, man, and things are for keeps. When the verge of war basically is like, everything's ready to jump off at any moment for any incident. And that's the best way to keep everybody in line is the threat of major violence, all out war breaking out. Nobody really wants that. So everybody will figure it out, to keep that from happening. And in a chaotic setting like these prisons are, it's good. It's a good deterrent, I'd say.
So pretty much, man, you get to Victorville, man, it's really racially segregated. I mean, the prisoners are telling the cops what to do. You're in FCI Victorville, not a nice place, dangerous place. You see violence in that place, or it's an FCI. What's going on there?
Oh yeah, yes, it was an FCI, man, but they ran it like a penitentiary. Really, as far as the politics go, I feel like they were politicking harder because dudes were at FCI, not a penitentiary, and they wanted to make a name for themselves. So, they crossed people up a lot quicker. All the violence was there. They just weren't stabbing people, man. But they man, vicious beatings with things, man. They did people real dirty there, man. Yeah, it was all the way live. I'll give it to it. You know, not a soft FZI, I'll tell you that.
And you end up getting in some shit yourself over there, or what happens?
Um, there was, a few incidents when I finally ended up going to the penitentiary. I had gotten into a fight with one of my homeboys, well, not dudes from Oregon, but a dude, I messed with pretty tough in the unit. I kind of feel like he was kind of pulling a check-in move, really, and maybe he thought because we were home, I don't know what, but he ended up punching me right like in the day room in front of the whole unit when we're waiting to go to chow at lunch. Like, and bro, I got my paperwork in to go to the low. I'm just trying to lay back. And dude punched me, we are dressing out in our khakis ready for the ring the bell and go to chow. And like I couldn't let it slide. And I ended up knocking the dude out, go to the box. And so now it's okay, you were going to low, and now they put a management variable on me, and they're like, we're going to send you to a penitentiary, but we're going to send you to Coleman Penitentiary. All right, cool, whatever. I'm getting home to Florida. Wasn't the way I wanted to, but, and so I'm there in the hole, waiting, and like, well, I wasn't waiting that long, and one day they come tell me to roll it up, which I'm thinking like, roll it up? And where am I going? Like, I couldn't have even been designated or anything yet. And yeah, I find out, man, they sent me to the penitentiary right across the street. And bro, man, one thing about it, every prison I ever went into, there's that sense of fear you carry with you, man. You don't know what you're walking into. As a man, I've always been a man, and do me, and like I'm not no scary dude or nothing, but the fear of what you don't know what you're walking into is always there, just being real. And I was terrified of that place, man, because I'm across the street, man. I used to hear the deuces going off. All the cops would come over and tell us war stories about what's going on over there, and yeah, man, I was scared, bro. And man, when I hit the compound over there, bro, like I'm not gonna lie, man, I love the penitentiary. Like it was on some real man time. You go there and you got certain rules you have to follow. But when it comes down to the come down, man, it's if you're a man, you're gonna survive. You could get jammed up in a race riot or some kind of racial issue that doesn't have nothing to do with you, and you could, get, messed up with something like that. But besides that, man, if you carry yourself like a man and do you, man, you're gonna be all right, And like I loved, I'm not anti-cop, man, but I get tired of hearing COs yell at me all the time. Inmate do this, inmate do it. And none of that was going on over there. They were quiet. Every white dude I knew had a bag of hooch in their locker. Like they weren't tripping on nothing, bro. And man, I liked it. I dug it, and I was still on some, just young, stupid mentality at that time. I'm still, thugging it and acting like I'm never going home. And but yeah, man, I got over there and things were different. Like, I was used to the politics and stuff, but they play for keeps over there. And Victorville was not no soft yard at all. I was over there with Lumpy that you had fun.
Let's talk a little bit about this, Trey. When you walk in, who's got the yard over there at USP Victorville when you get there?
Oh, the brand does. As far as the white car, the brand overall or the whites call the shots. But they still had, cars like there was a pretty big dirty white boy car. And the brand didn't interfere with their politics. They let them do them. I mean, they still had the voice of the yard, but you do you as long as it's not interfering with the whites overall. Everybody, certain cars, like really, I mean, me and a couple of my homeboy, Kid, and our other homeboy, Big Chad from Tennessee, that they were together in Pollock. The three of us used to kick it real tough, and they kind of gave us a respect, like we were our own, like we were the South car, and but overall the brand ran it, and I mean they were, it's a California yard, and all them dudes from Cali grew up on the stories of the brand. The brand runs this. And the few dudes that were there that were brand, like, they had bodyguards around them at all times. Like anywhere they walked on the compound, there's 4 dudes around them, like they're like some kind of like the president or something. Dude Snow that got killed. I was in Snow's unit. I got nothing bad to say about Snow. Like, I'm gonna give the brand their props as far as when it comes to white gangs. They were the real deal too, from what I saw. They don't recruit numbers. Like, they keep a small circle, man, and thorough dudes are all gonna go. I didn't see that in Snow at all. I don't know why he got picked. He was kind of an asshole to people. Me and him never had no problems. I was in his unit, but them dudes, they were serious. Yeah, they had the yard, but once again, everybody had their own car, and as long as you didn't get out of line with the politics, you kind of do your thing over there. It wasn't that bad. It gets a bad rap, but a lot of gangs, man. But you just be a man, and you'll be all right.
Well, I mean, were people getting killed when you were there?
The only dude that got, some dudes got killed in the shoe. That happens a lot, child molesters and stuff. The only dude on the compound when I was there that got killed was a Crip out of Vegas that they stomped to death and left under his bunk. Like they, for like hours, 9 hours before they found him dead. Yeah, no white dudes had got killed. Not too long before I got there. It was maybe a year or so before I got there. Actually, a Sereno had actually killed a white guy. It was kind of a big issue. And then I got there after a whole big skinhead and the brand incident had kicked off. And that had a lot of repercussions, going forward. I think that's one of the reasons when Snow ended up getting killed. I mean, it was for, working with administration, but it all kind of stemmed from that incident with the skinheads and the SAC dudes. SAC came back on the yard out there. But I mean, it was a lot, man. Dudes was getting stabbed. It was just, dudes were getting punished, hurt daily, man.
I remember when all that had happened. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Snow. I mean, people are like, well, we've done interviews. We talked to people like Jimmy Gunn on here and a couple others. But, he ends up getting killed. Why? Because there's allegations that he was working with the administration?
Yeah, that's what that word was. A lot of them dudes was. And, I'm going to kind of speak on something. I'm not 100%, Big Mark. Big Mark had the keys to the yard there. And Big Mark was a really good dude, man. Born politician, had a smile for everybody, man. Like when you hit the compound there, first thing is a white dude. Hey, man, you got to go out and see Big Mark at the table because, the brand had their own table on the yard that was there. They'd hold it down all the time. And Big Mark always find out where you're from. Oh, okay, you got a homeboy from over here, whatever, and like just he remember everybody's names. He remember, just was a good dude all around. And I heard he got killed when they sent him home. He had got killed in Sacramento behind the same type of things. Word come down that these dudes were working with the administration. Big Mark actually got caught up in the big brand when they did the when they got all them dudes and they had the big dogs that were in ADX, man. What were their names? The 2 main brand guys.
Barry Mills and Bingham and them guys.
Yeah. When that case with all them, Big Mark had got brought in. He had been out of prison since the late 80s, early 90s, and got re-indicted with their case at that time from running a poker table in the 80s at Leavenworth. He got 5 years. Yeah, they sent him to Victorville, and the administration told him, any white bodies drop, behind violence with y'all while you're here, we're going to indict you on a murder case. And that's where it stems with these dudes working with the administration and trying to run a tight ship with white guys. And Snow was one of the people caught up with it, man. And, just, hey, when they send that word, you know how it is, man. I didn't see it, man. Like I said, I had left. I went to the SMU program, and I heard about it down the line, man. And I heard they did him dirty, man. But he wasn't cut like that, anyways. Like I said, man, he wasn't like he just kind of just get drunk and talk crazy to like the lamer white dudes that would take that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. I heard a lot of politics. I never really been on the West Coast as far as Victorville or nothing, but you're coming from the East Coast. Did you just have to pay rent there? I mean, did they make you guys put money in a box or chip in? Because, there's always rumors. So I want you to I know what they are, but clarify it for the people, man.
Nah, so I mean, in any prison you're at, man, if you go there and you're making moves and you got money and you're not really nobody, people who got the yard, man, they're gonna want a piece of that. So yeah, man, if some dudes come in there and they let these people press up on them, I call that a soft press, and take it happens, but man, nah, that wasn't happening. Like they didn't never come to me. Now, what I would say, what they did in my unit, when you get there as a white dude, you walk in there immediately, you're getting shower shoes, soap, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush. Somebody's gonna find you a radio. Like they're gonna give you a whole package, like immediately off the bus. Make sure you're good. And every on payday, and I want to say it might have been every 3 months. I don't remember if it's every month or every 3 months. Might have been every month. But in our unit, on every payday, they come around and they give you it's like they make like little tickets, like pieces of paper with different items on it and tear it up and pull names out the hat. And like if they pulled your name with the deodorant and come say on payday when everybody posts, hey, and they make sure you have a job with the prison, so you're getting money in. Hey, Chad, you got to buy deodorant and kick it into the kitty. And it's for the new people there. That's the only thing they ever came at me as far as paying anything or doing anything was contributing to, the care package for any white dude that comes in there. And I was all for that. That was cool. That wasn't no press game, but I didn't see them, once again, I seen some dudes get there and right off the bus, going around making moves and doing this and doing that. And if they were from the East Coast, because, East Coast, West Coast, man, there's that beef. It's not so much a beef, but it's everybody's style is different. And I seen some dudes get pressed a little, but that's if they let it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to stand up.
It's like this, though, right? Let's say you're coming from New York, you're getting hit with the pack, you're a white dude. I mean, the ABs run the yard, they're getting some of it, right?
I mean, it depends. Now, okay, so I'm going to tell you a good story because with the little car, the South car I tell you about, me, Kid, and our other homeboy, Chad, this dude, Bobby Miller, Robert Ethan Miller Jr., was a good friend of mine, man. I didn't know him. Kid and Chad knew him from Pollock. And when he got there, one day we had came off a modified lockdown. Matter of fact, it was the modified lockdown when Lumpy and his homeboy Slick jumped on the UAB dude and stomped him out.
Talking about the Lumpy that I interviewed, ex-DWB.
Yeah. We was talking about the incident where they jumped on the UAB dude, right? It was that morning when they did that because we were just coming off the modified lockdown and going to chow with new dudes that hit the yard. And that's when Lumpy and Slick seen this UAB dude. And my cellie, Greg at the time, Greg Womack, who's a dirty white boy with 30 years, he knew the dude from the county jail, knew the dude was telling whatever, sent word, and they smashed him. But that morning when that was kicking off, I go to the chow hall, and at our table, this new dude sitting there with Kid and Chad. And they're just like, yo, Tree, this is our homeboy Bobby, man. Man, he was with us in Pollock. He's a good dude. Now, he's from Boston, right? Which I'm kind of like, damn, I mean, it's cool. I ain't tripping. I mess with everybody. But, they're like, man, it's our homeboy. He's this and that. And, introduced me. A little bit later, Kid kind of, pulls me up and just kind of like, Tree, you got different people, man. You got people with money, this, that. He's like, dude, Bobby's the golden goose, bro. Like, he's got that bread. And he's cool, man. He's on the same type of time as us. He works out with us. He's like, man, we fought with him tough. And he's in our car. And I'm just like, all right, cool. And he was a cool ass dude. Like, man, we worked out every day. Man, we listened to music. Man, we were running a fantasy basketball league thing together. And he starts hustling off the rip, man. He's got the sack. He's got tobacco, and he's got weed, and he's got heroin, all that shit. And he's like, put me on with the tobacco and shit. Put me on with some weed. he talked to me about having the heroin and shit. And, I had my own addiction at that time. And just respectfully, I was like, look, Bobby, you know what? I appreciate you, everything you do. I don't ever want to be in a situation where my habit could get the best of me. Like if I'm not moving this shit and I got it and it's in my face and I fuck around and do it, like I don't want that to become between our friendship. So like I refuse to take the H from him just because, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. But man, I fought with Bobby tough, man, and like we looked, hey, he was one of us. And
I know Bobby. I know Bobby very well. I was with him in USP Lee later on in life.
What year?
Maybe 2009, 10, after all that other stuff happened and the whole big stamp. Huh?
After he left Victorville?
After he left Victorville, yeah.
Okay, so he told you about me then. Because me and Kid jumped on him at Victorville. Yeah, he probably told you a story.
I don't think he told me the story about getting jumped on, but I know that things happened to him. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, well, so like I said, man, he was one of us. And yeah, them West Coast dudes, because I'm talking about he hit the ground running there. He had fresh Timbs, he kept his hair slicked back. He's feeding the whole unit every night. He was in the unit with Lumpy and Josh, Lumpy's partner, man. Josh was a good dude, dirty white boy. Anyway, the West Coast dudes, they were kind of plotting on Bobby, man, because he really had bread. Like his people own GNCs out in the world. Like he's making like $10,000 a month just doing nothing, sitting in prison. And he could do shit. And but he was part of our car. Our 3-man car became a 4-man car. You know what I'm saying? And like, so like the dudes never pressed him to say nothing because they knew he fucked with us. But they're waiting for an incident to happen. And an incident didn't happen where cans of tobacco, he's buying, and CO got knocked off and he sent money somewhere, and this blood out of Harlem Tyson, his fucking partner got jammed up. Lucky it was a BGF dude. And like Bobby wanted his money back. He sent a few $1,000s to the street, supposed to get cans of tobacco. Like I said, the cop got knocked. It's a big mess. And Bobby ended up against people's, better judgment and say, Bobby, you shouldn't do this. Well, the dude Tyson himself, because he sent the money, his people on the street sent the money to this Muslim dude, Abdullah's account for the cans of tobacco. So he's going to step to Abdullah. And, Bobby played that mafia, whatever. He was messed up with the whole, the Gold Club in Atlanta that was mob ran and stuff. Like he showed me his paperwork. He had David Justice and Deion Sanders and Patrick Ewing and stuff making statements on him in his paperwork. Like he showed me, I'm reading this stuff. And, but, he liked to play off that mob, connection a little bit more than he had it, And basically he went to the dude Abdullah and was like, I want my money back that I sent for them cans of tobacco. And oh no, he didn't send to Abdullah's, he sent to Lucky's people, but Abdullah and Lucky were like brothers. And he was like, I got people on the street, and you know who I am on the street, and you know who my people are on the street. And I got this street address I sent my money to. And if I don't get it back, I need to send my people on the street to the address that I sent this money. And basically just told this Muslim dude that like he's gonna have his mob dudes run up on his partner that's sitting in the hole, BGF dude's family, for a few $1,000s or whatever, and it was all capped. He was, but whatever. But the dude has to take it, so he did some dumb shit. Let's not get it twisted. And but the brand was waiting on something like that, man. A big issue the next day out the yard. They had Bobby out there. They wanted to run him off the compound. And like, I didn't know what's going on. I was going to my work thing. And this Sereno Spooky, I think, I don't remember what his name was, but he's in a couple spots with me. He was in Coleman with us later too. But he was like, hey man, what's up with your homeboy Bobby, man? They got him out of the table. I was like, what's going on? And I look out there, I see Bobby at the table and like 100 white dudes like around him. And I'm just like, man, this is not good. I went and got my little poker, just, ain't gonna do nothing, but I'm gonna go out here because this is my dude, what I'm saying? He's in the car. And yeah, it was a big issue, man. The Muslims wanted to run him off the yard and shit. So Kid and Chad showed up with us. And, we got to talking with them. And it was like, we're not running them off the yard. Like, we tried to clean up the whole thing, incident, say it was a miscommunication. It wasn't, but whatever. Still, we're standing up for our dude. And, the brand dudes are like, well, he's going to have to go up top. The Muslims want him gone. He's at least go up top for like a week or so until we get this all squared away and come back out. And Big Chad was just like, check this out, with all due respect. Nah, he's not doing that. Once you go up top, man, that's it. You're ruined. Like, you don't go up top and come out in a week and everything's good. Not in my car, you don't. If he wants to do that, that's cool, but he's out of our car. Like, we ain't got nothing for him. And like, the brand, like I said, they respected the three of us, before Bobby was there enough to where like they gave us that respect. Like, okay, something's got to be done though. Like he, what I'm saying, he's got to shed blood. You got to do something, man. They want to see something. And okay, cool. We'll take him in the cell and we'll, what I'm saying, we'll touch him up. And everything kind of broke. It was really tense, man. I was worried. Like I thought I was gonna get stabbed up that day because like that was my dude, man. And I knew it was a losing effort, but it is what it is. And they were all in the unit together. So when we broke off, they're going to the unit. I'm like, hey, Chad, you want me to come up in there with you? Or like, you want me? And Chad's just like, oh, yeah, no, just duck, wreck, treat. We'll go take care of this. He was kind of shitty about it. And I'm like, well, bro, on the real, there's just a huge demonstration with all these white dudes on the yard. We're in the center of it. All y'all live in the unit together. You're going back there. Do you want the most inconspicuous dude on the compound to try to sneak in your unit to do this with y'all? And he was just like, you know what, Tree, you're right. Go back to your unit. And they went back up there and, they touched Bobby up. Ain't have him leaking, had him with a black eye, nothing serious. And then that night he comes out and tells me he's running with the blacks now. He didn't like how that all went down. And he jumped in the East Coast black car. And it was like a slap in the face to me, because where were these dudes when they were just mobbing you about to fill you with holes? Like, I was the one standing there for you, man. We kept them dudes like, yeah, we might have had to go touch you up a little, but bro, that's not like, what I'm saying? Like he didn't respect nothing we did for him.
What ends up happening? Do you guys smash him now because he says he's switching to the black car? Or what?
We didn't have to smash him then, but once he got in the car with the blacks, he didn't want to move out the white cell. And when they're telling me he has to move, he's like saying crazy shit. And then he went to Big Terry Beast. They call, brand dude from back in the day. He was a nutcase, man. He got a bunch of bodies and stuff. And basically told Terry, man, I'm tired of your shit. I'm not in your car no more. I'm with the East Coast dudes. If y'all want war, fucking my homeboys will bring it. He ain't said nothing to not one black dude. He just saying this shit, freestyling. You know what I'm saying? And they got these young black kids from Harlem walking up there like, hey, Terry, what's going on? After he just told them that their whole car will go to war and they ain't even said nothing to nobody. So like he caused a big issue there. And it was a big thing in the chow hall that morning, to where they kicked him out of the car. And the brand, they came to us, they came to me and Kid, and they were like, look, out of respect, if y'all want to go handle that, what I'm saying, we'll let y'all handle that, because that was your dude. We got people who will handle it, because they just had made a couple dudes, Germ, and Rags, I think. They had just made them. With the brand, you gotta get blood when you get made. And like, basically them dudes was like wanting to go take care of Bobby. But, I still had love for the dude. No matter what he did, I didn't want to see him killed. So me and Kid were like, okay, we'll go take care of it. And, went up in the unit, man, and found him, and just like, we ain't even like, we go in the cell and he's talking to us, all smiles and shit. And I'm like fucking depressed. Like, I'm looking at Kid. I don't know how we're going to do this. How we're going to jump this off and shit. Finally, I just like took off on him. Boom, and dropped him and shit. And the Kid jumped up. And like after I hit him, like I tried to kick him one time and Kid jumped there. And like, man, all the wind was out my sails, bro. I didn't want to do this to this dude. You know what I'm saying? And he like broke out and ran out the cell. And then police was right there. And then we go to the box and he's back in the box selling me out. Call me junkie dope fiend motherfucker. I know where your mom lives. I'm going to send the mob dudes to your mom to fuck your mom, just a bunch of sellout shit. And I'm just like, okay, Bobby, whatever. And it fucking pissed me off because I just saved him from getting killed, basically. And he didn't even get a black eye out. Like, he got the best low-key beatdown that he could have fucking ever wished to have got. and he wanted to sell me out. And it kind of pissed me off, but you know.
Talk about this. Let's talk about when you leave Victorville, right? You end up getting jammed up in Victorville, and they send you to the SMU program. If I remember correctly, I think it was because for making wine, right? What did you go to the SMU program for?
Um, well, I went to the SMU program. I had about 10 or 11 month period. I probably had like 14, 1,500 series shots. But it was knife shots, dirties. Yeah. On the final time I got locked up before they sent me to the SMU, yeah, I got jammed up with a big batch of wine and then a whole bunch of knives that were being made. But yeah, just like not really no. I mean, the one incident with Bobby, that was only a 200 series. It wasn't even no serious shit, just stupid shit, man. And they sent me to the SMU, yeah.
So now you're in the SMU with some of the most dangerous dudes in federal prison, right? I mean, you're already at USP Victorville. You end up in the SMU program. And, I had talked before about numbers, and I had also talked about Martin in my book. But there's an issue with that because I got it wrong. I thought that the armed dudes ended up smashing numbers, and I didn't realize that numbers was Martin when we were together. So
That's cool.
Until we end up talking again. So tell the people a little bit about the SMU program and what the SMU program was like, man.
Okay, so I was on the second bus from Victorville there. Lumpy and them was on the first bus. They jumped on the dude on the tarmac there. Our bus came in. I think some of the dudes on our bus wanted to show out for them, and we caused a big incident. When you first walk in, they used to put everybody in just one big holding tank. And this is one of the things that sticks with me in prison and why I never wanted to join a gang or anything was from this day. All these dudes had cuff keys in their mouth, and we were beefing with the administration. We didn't get there till like 11 o'clock at night. They didn't want to unshackle us. They didn't want to feed us. They finally decided to take our black boxes off, and that was it. Well, everybody had cuff keys, so they take the black box off, man. They're spitting their cuff keys out. Everybody's slipping their cuffs and doing everything. Well, half the bus, there's like 30 dudes come in, man. At least half these dudes had knives in their ass, right? They're all gang members. Yeah, that's how they travel like that. Yeah, exactly. It's vicious, bro. And that's why I was like, bro, I never want to be part of an organization where I feel like the best situation for me is to put a knife in my ass to travel with because I don't know what's going on. And that's how these dudes are living. And, bro, like dudes are getting stabbed up in there. Like 3-4 dudes got stabbed up. The Indians got nervous. They had their belly chains off. They smashed all the windows out. We had the captain and the SORT team there at like 2:30 in the morning, guns down to us, everybody laying on top of each other, broken glass, blood everywhere. That was my introduction there. That was our bus. And they changed that, like in that room now. After we left, they went and welded tiny little dog cages to where you go in, you're not like in a big room, you go in a little tiny cage. And so when I got there, man, it was just, the SMUs were just opening up on a big stage. The penitentiaries had been wild for a few years since Marion closed. There was nowhere, you stab somebody and you're right back on the compound in a couple of weeks. And so now there's a deterrent for that. It's the SMU. And they want to go hard. They don't want to break for no inmate. They don't want to do nothing. And they're pepper spraying people. I end up in G unit, man. No AC, bro. Just the rec cages had the suicide rec cages, no vestibule. Just everybody goes in there handcuffed. First person get their handcuffs off wins, man. And I seen people get just massacred out there, man. And it was vicious, man. I used to wake up every day, man, coughing from pepper spray, from them spraying somebody on another unit or on another floor, just nonstop when I first got there, man. Dudes was stabbing their cellies. Dudes were stabbing cops up there just to get out of there, man, because it was like hell on earth, man. And Numbers became my cellie at one point. And I had heard stories. He had went crazy in Lee County or somewhere, and there was an issue with the armed dudes at another prison. But he wasn't like messed up, like walking and stuff like that. He was fine. And he got into it with his homeboy from Tennessee, my homeboy Rudy from Tampa, and this dude Tennessee were in the cell together, and they had both been down 20-something years. They actually, at their both first prisons, Atlanta, back in the mid-'90s, Rudy had actually stabbed Tennessee. And it was a fluke call. Some other dudes put a bad bone on Tennessee, and they ended up running into each other a few years later at Lewisburg, not in the smooth. This is like now in the later 90s. And they hashed everything out. But Tennessee, he been to a few, he done stabbed somebody every prison he's been to. He's got triple life. And now him and Rudy can't get along in the cell. And me and Numbers was in the cell together. So I go out to rec, and Tennessee jams me up. He's like, hey, yo, Tree, bro, you think, man, you could switch cellies with me? He's like, I can't stand your homeboy, man. We don't talk. It's just like, it's toxic in there. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to mess the program up, man. I just want to keep going. He's like, I figure you can go in the cell with your homeboy from Tampa. I can take my homeboy from Tennessee. I'm like, yeah, Tennessee, I'm with it, bro. But I'm not going to force the issue. Like, as long as Numbers is cool with it, I'm cool with it. And I was like, I don't see why he wouldn't do it. And, Tennessee, well, you tell him if he doesn't do it, he's going to have a problem with me. And I'm just like, no, I'm not passing threats along. I'm not doing all that, man. I'll talk to him. I don't think it'll be a problem. Well, that's not how it went. I went back there and I talked to Numbers, man. And Numbers is just like, he's not cool with it. And he's like, I don't care, man. You're a good celly. Why do I have to be forced to have some new guy because they can't get along? If them old motherfuckers got a problem, they know how to, fucking bloody his mouth, man. They'll move him, just it's fucked up. Like I believe in helping everybody out and doing shit so we all get along, man. Nobody has to start this over. And yeah, he wasn't with it, man. And then his homeboy was sending him kites down there and everything. And yeah, man, first time we go out to rec in G Unit, man, and fucking go out to rec. And I see, man, Tennessee getting his cuffs off. I step back, man. I'm cuffed up. I just step to the back wall. And he comes out, I see him slide the knife out of his sock and comes up behind Numbers and just starts stabbing him, man. Numbers is cuffed up behind his back and just like blood squirt. This was like, just like from one like single image that's like burning my brain. I remember he had a plastic knife and he hit Numbers one time in the temple and it went in the skin, but it didn't like penetrate, the bone at all. But I see it hit the skull, go in the skin, and like stayed under the skin and wrapped around his forehead. Like, so I can see this plastic knife under his skin, like protruding out on his forehead. One time when he stabbed him, pulled it out, hit him in the neck, and it was squirting everywhere. And he's screaming and crying. And, he's hollering at me for help. And it's like, bro, like, I can't help you, man. Like this, I feel like it was kind of unwarranted. The level of violence, for refusing to take the dude as a celly. I mean, fuck for real, when a dude does that to you, I wouldn't want him as my celly either. But at the same time, man, that's how it goes there, man. Yeah, that's what happened to Numbers. That's when, yeah, he had to learn how to walk again and everything.
I mean, I remember when we were with him in Coleman and he was like drooling and it was just, it was wild, man, to see him like that, right?
He almost lost his life, man. And like I said, that was, yeah, man, I saw that, I mean, he's on the ground, leaking a big puddle of blood, just filling up the rec cage when they're pulling us out. Like, I got to step through his blood to get out of there, man. Yeah, I seen that. Hey, but that's what happens in them penitentiaries, man. It's over nothing.
It's real life stuff in there, man. And I want people to understand that. And that's kind of what the message is. You know what I mean? I think that me and you, we're gonna have to do a part 2. I think we'll end it here. Okay. We'll do a part 2. Because I want to get into the addiction. I want to get into some more of the, the other stuff that you've experienced when you got out of prison, a message for other people, message for kids, message for people that are on the wrong path. And we'll talk about our time at Coleman and our friendship, and we'll get into all that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to close the show, but there will be a part 2. I want people to know, man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV, with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out.